Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Gal.
Hey, everyone.
Good morning. And Mike is here.
Okay, so Gal's the last one here, and he gets.
Well, he
What's
was
this all about?
he was in the shot. That's why.
All right.
Next time, hit your hand. And Nick is here.
Gal's also here. I just want to let everybody know that
Hi,
Gal's
Gal.
here.
And
Hey, I'm here.
Steve's still here.
Steve's here.
Yeah, he's here.
I'm here. Good morning
Good
and
morning.
happy Sunday to everybody.
Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is made possible by vMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Nice morning outside.
Very hot in the south.
Well, yeah, it is hot. It's humid, but last night was, oof. Rain. Well, almost all afternoon, and I don't know what time it stopped, but it was bad. And you were outside, huh, Nick?
It didn't rain at all here.
Well,
It hasn't rained in almost a
don't
week.
talk to me.
Okay, well, fine. Man, I got it for nothing.
So what's going on? Oh, I've got something.
Okay,
Got up Thursday morning
me too.
and had a message from Twitch that my account was suspended for
Hate speech.
something, a community guidelines, whatever, and that's it. So I went and clicked on something to see what did we do wrong. Couldn't find out. So I sent a message back, and I said, "Okay, I would love to comply, but I have no idea what's wrong. And if you're only going to do it for 24 hours, and then I'm going to continue streaming, it'll happen again, probably. So I need to know what was done wrong." And the guy, somebody sent a message back. He said, "Well, what is your IP address? And fill up this form and blah, 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 and we'll let you know." So I'm still waiting. It's amazing. That's exactly what I was thinking, that, so we were talking about Alex Jones, and you're going to suspend our account. I would really love to know, because there's absolutely no copyright anything there, and we don't none of the shows is any kind of anything that can be even considered.
I disagree.
What?
I think your Vietnam show could be some of that could be considered hate speech. I'm being dead serious, Sam. I'm being dead serious.
Really?
Absolutely. The stuff they talk about on that show, absolutely. I could see Twitch or one of these other CDNs nailing you for that.
It's pro-American. They don't like this country.
No, not even pro-American. You're talking about war and I mean, it's not.
Oh,
It's
well.
not the show's not graphic, but I mean, there's a reference of people that died
Maybe. I don't
or
know.
are dying. I mean, yeah, I could see something. I could see them. It's something stupid like that. Of course, that's ridiculous, but I could see that.
So anyway, I'm waiting to hear. So yeah, I took Twitch out of the. I mean, it was clear the next day, but I'm not going to stream on Twitch.
Well, there goes all of our audience. That's unfortunate.
What?
So there goes all of our audience. Just throwing the towels.
Right.
Doing the show anymore.
So Nick had a busy week.
Well, and real quick, speaking of Alex Jones, there's a possibility he'll be joining me on my program this evening at 7 p.m.
Really?
Yes.
Cool.
I haven't gotten a confirmation yet, but within the next couple of weeks, he'll be on my program. So look forward to that.
All right.
Yeah, he will. He's legitimately going to be on.
All right.
So that'll be cool.
Just be careful that the FCC
The
doesn't,
FCC doesn't shut us down. Yeah. Yeah, that's just no. Sorry, your license has been revoked.
ban you from the airwaves.
Your construction permit has been denied.
Yeah. Yeah.
Arnie says, let's rewrite history. Do we have any good writers? The problem is you can write all you want, but it will be suppressed. We cannot use Twitter or YouTube, Facebook, or any of the major media to get it out.
This is true. Well, I did have a busy week, as Mike said. I was part of my first antenna and transmitter relocation project as I venture more and more into broadcast engineering, and it was quite a week. It's been an interesting 12 months since the whole process has started.
But it's all positive now.
So Nick, why don't you tell us a little bit about the experience?
I don't really I don't really know what to talk about. There's so many different.
Tell everybody what you're talking about. It started out that the station, the station that you work for, is an FM station in Wilmington. That whenever some time ago, the station had a nice signal, but it was downgraded for a number of reasons. And as part of that process, the station signal became very bad. Over time, it was decided to try to put the station back to where it was before it was downgraded. The engineering was done. Eventually it was gotten right, and eventually it was granted by the FCC. The next step was, once it was granted, was the engineer down there, the extraordinary engineer down there, they found a location. They had a transmitter they were going to reuse. They ordered an antenna, got everything all set up, ready to put it up on the new. This takes a year. Ready to put it up on the new tower. All the issues with the technology. The internet is used to deliver the signal, primarily from the studio to the tower, to the remote control of the system is done over the internet. Like modern stations are doing. So all this happens. And then this past week was the day when the antenna people would climb the tower, mount the antenna, mount the coax down the antenna, go into the transmitter room. And if Nick hasn't blown up the transmitter, you go in there and connect it to the transmitter and all the equipment, you turn it on, and all of a sudden you have a new big powerful system and signal.
Perfect.
Now,
So,
Nick,
nothing, what could go wrong?
Now, Nick,
Nick, yes, sir.
Can you repeat all that and you tell us that?
I can.
I mean, I can, but so let's just talk what happened. So what happened this week? So Tuesday morning, I met the group of climbers out at the tower, and they spent about half the day on Tuesday assembling the antenna, which all comes in a whole bunch of pieces, and it needs to be put together, very precise. There's things are measured in 16ths of an inch, very, very precise with how things need to be attached and bolted together. So that was Tuesday. They spent the rest of the day on Tuesday and all of the day on Wednesday hanging the antenna and lining it all up. As it's a directional antenna, it's very, very specific in which way it has to be mounted. If it's off by even a few degrees or even a few inches, it can make a really big difference. So that was Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday morning around 9:30, I pulled the station off the air so we could pull the transmission line off of our current tower. It was news to us that because of all of you've probably heard in your local market, AM stations getting FM translators. Due to that, there's a shortage of transmission line in America, which is the coax that brings the RF from the transmitter to the antenna. There's a shortage of that. So due to that, we would have been looking at a 10-week delay to get the coax because of this shortage. So we made the decision to go off the air for about 30 hours while we pulled down the existing coax, drove it to a new location, and hang it back up. So that was That was Thursday. It was pulled down.
Now listen to what he just said. This you talk about burning the ships. The there because the coax is on the existing antenna, the existing station. The station goes off the air. The tower climbers go up the tower 300 feet, 100, whatever. How high was the old
300
tower?
feet.
The old tower.
Yeah.
Bring this coax down, disconnect it, transport it over to the new tower site, climb the tower, hook it up. You hit the button and nothing works. You don't think that's a high risk maneuver in a 24/7 operation, then you really don't understand what Nick's explaining. But anyway, go ahead, Nick.
So that was Thursday. It was pulled down. Thursday afternoon, the current antenna was, or the new tower was kind of prepped. It had all the like the 70 or 80 butterfly hooks hooked into it, so that they could tie the coax to the legs of the tower. And Friday morning, about 8:30, 9 o'clock, the crew started pulling the coax up to the antenna. I got it all set up. We were ready to go about 1:30. We hooked up a some type of some type of tower spectrum device to the end of the coax, and it showed that there was no antenna on the other end.
It's a time domain reflectometer, TDR.
There you go. And there was no antenna on the other end. It was an open loop, and turns out at the top of the tower, about 300 and I don't know, 50 feet in the air, 340 feet in the air, the coax had pulled, or the connector had pulled loose from the center conductor on the coax. So somebody had to shimmy their way back up the tower and reconnect the adapter. Once they did that, everything was good and we were on the air.
I tried to get Nick to go up there and fix it, but
I was told I wasn't insured to climb. I really did want to go up a little bit, but I was told I couldn't.
Oh, I thought that was you in the video climbing up.
Yeah.
If he'd been up 25 feet, he'd have said, "Shut this thing down."
So that was my week.
Yeah, but that is an amazing situation when you
It was
do everything and then you find out that the connector is messed up.
It could have been. That was the easiest thing that could have gone wrong. I mean, there was 100 other things that were likely that would have delayed us another 24 to 48 hours, which would not have been a good situation.
And thanks to the internet, it was online. The station was online 24/7.
This is true. Yeah.
And I will tell you that the engineer did an amazing job building that facility and getting it on the air with no more problems than he had. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, to be off the air for 24 hours is really bad. But
it's already worth it. We've gotten plenty of reports, and I've even done some driving around, and the signal is far greater than it was, and it's only at 50% power as of right now.
A lot of times these tower climbers for the major stations will do some stuff at night, but it's so dangerous. It's just not worth it for the job this size. I mean, the idea, I mean, the only thing that went really wrong is no one had any clue that there was a shortage of feedline coax. If that had not been the case, if we had been able to order it and have it delivered in time, this would have been a matter of flipping from one signal to another and being done with it.
Now, you're not talking about coax like RG6 or something.
Well, a coax is coax, but what happens is that there are two kinds of coax that are used in broadcasting. One is called a foam coax, which is like an RG6, RG8, RG58, RG59. Those are foam coax, and that they have a coax, a copper braided shielded outer conductor and a center conductor, and there's a white foam between the center conductor and the shield.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is, and of course, because of the skin effect, the signal only travels on the outside anyway. So you can get a 1 5/8 inch or larger feed line that's actually the feed line is pressurized with nitrogen to keep moisture out of it, but there is no it uses an air dielectric, or in other words, it's just a center conductor mounted inside a pipe in essence. And the pipe is the ground, and the center conductor is the feed line.
Mm-hmm.
It's mounted inside and pressurized. So this one we moved the if they had been moving feed line instead of coax, they would not have done it nearly as quickly. This feed line, this coax, they could roll up, unroll, drag it up, tack it down, and be done with it. The other, they would have had to mount it with brackets and things. It would have been a mess.
So, Nick, how thick was the coax?
I don't remember what size we ended up
Roughly,
using.
roughly.
So 7/8. I don't. Yeah, there was two.
Wow.
The inch and 5/8 is what the idea was, but we ended up using 7/8, which is still huge. I mean, I've got a piece of it on my car. It's big, heavy cable. I mean, the
Yeah.
whole
About,
spool.
about an inch diameter.
Yeah, the whole spool weighed about 300 pounds on there.
Did that change the amount of power you have to put into the coax?
No.
I think it should. So I'd be curious to ask the engineer about that.
Yeah.
Because it's not the coax is not as efficient as the feed line, is my understanding. I've never used feed line. I've maintained radio stations that use it, but I've never had any involvement with it. So my knowledge of it is about zero.
To my knowledge, it has not.
If it is, what happens is what we're saying here is that whenever you connect the output of a feed line or coax to the transmitter and then the other end to the antenna, that link is some power is going to be lost in that feed line. And the way the FCC allows you to measure power is ERP, effective radiated power. What that means is you can put as much power as you need to into the coax to get the right amount out of the antenna. If you're going to put 2,000 watts into the feed line to get a 5,000 watt signal out of the antenna, it's effective radiated power because it's horizontally directional. It's a long story, but that is normal, and there's no free lunch in there. But if you find out that you have higher loss in the coax, then the FCC will allow you to increase the transmitter output such that you get the right ERP out of the antenna that you would have gotten if you did not have that loss in the coax, assuming it's a characteristic of the coax and not a problem with the coax.
Nick, Arnie Carl is asking what was the SWR?
It was 0, but he's saying it can't be 0, and I don't know enough to
Well,
comment.
it's a technique. He's correct. Standing wave ratio is 1 to
It's
1.
1 to 1.
Perfect transfer.
Yeah.
But when you say 0, that means there's no reflected power, which
correct. When you look at it on a meter, there's 0 SWR.
Nice.
Well, that's almost impossible, but it's
Yeah.
very low.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. It says, however it's calibrated, it says 0.
Nick is controlling the transmitter on his computer or his phone.
There's a cool little device that I've got.
Well, another notch in Nick's belt.
Well, definitely a learning experience.
I'm going to tell you something. Nick has learned more in this last week than I had the opportunity to learn in 5 years with regard to this subject matter. Because he
things
had
like
the luxury of being there, having an exceptionally talented teacher who knows this stuff like the back of his hand. And I mean, it really did. If Nick left and went to operate a car wash, this will help him learn a whole lot about the way things work. It's just tremendous knowledge. I'm envious. I wish I could have had this opportunity when I was learning this crap. I had to learn it the hard way. I had to learn it by pressing the button and the thing blows up, and I'm the only one who can fix it.
And it doesn't happen every other day when
No.
you move a station, a transmitter. So this is, yep, altogether, it's great. Good for you, Nick. Good for you.
Thank you.
He was so excited when I was trying to keep up with him, and he happened to answer Skype when he walked home, and he said, "Let me turn on that little radio I have. I mean, I could never hear the station good." And he turned it and he said, "Wow!"
Yeah, I was always able to listen to my car. It didn't really hit me till I got home, and I was able to hear it on a little. I don't have it with me. I don't know where it is. Just a little portable radio.
Yeah, but Nick is a very binary person because I get text messages of his progress, and it's either the world has ended or
Yeah,
we're in
well.
heaven. There's nothing in between.
0 to 100 real quick.
And not only that, I mean, Nick is having he had well, a rough week.
wasn't a
Windows
rough week.
updates.
Oh, God almighty. I am not one to sit here and bitch and complain about Windows updates. I think they're important. I think you need to do them. There's things in the updates that are important. When there's an update available, I'm the first one to click update now.
But
Always have been. There's I updated the Windows 10 the day it was available in Windows 8.1. I'm never one to push them off. But this most recent Windows update, which I've tried to do now 4 times, continues to break all of my audio drivers. And there is I don't have a solution. It causes my sound cards to only work in an output mode, meaning I can listen to the output of those sound cards. Like I'd be able to hear you on the Google Hangout, I'd be able to hear a YouTube video, but you wouldn't be able to hear me. None of my inputs work. There's a couple. I've looked this up online. There's one forum post that I think is describing my problem. I don't know. I don't know.
So at this point, are you rolled back?
I am.
Okay. Steve, you were trying to say?
I was going to say, well, there's one good thing though, Nick. At least you still have hair.
But as of right now, I mean, I actually just refreshed this forum post that I posted on the other day, and somebody just commented and said that one of the most recent Windows 10 updates introduced some privacy/security settings which may have blocked your ability to record. Check and see if your update includes this. It will likely be the microphone settings that need to be changed. And there's a step walking through. There's a privacy mode that says allow apps and programs to access your microphone. So that may be it. I doubt it because this has happened before. I don't know. Very frustrating. And they keep forcing it. I mean, they've done it 4 times now. And when I roll back, which it's fortunate they allow you to roll back, I give them the same issue and they continue to do it.
Thanks, Microsoft.
Well, it's just frustrating. This has happened every update, but I've been able to fix it in the past. This time I can't fix it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I do. I can't get it to work.
Yeah, that'll be a good thing to look at. I mean, I can see them saying, no, we don't want any programs to access the microphone because of what kind of devices that can listen on you. But to do that and not tell people that things need to change.
What I really hate is that Behringer doesn't make any freaking drivers for their devices. They use this ASIO for all, which is not even a driver. There's no documentation on how to use it. There's no information online on how it's supposed to be installed and configured. I mean, it's just an absolute disaster. Behringer has dropped the ball on product support on some of their older devices on Windows 10. There's no support. Their solution is download some open source driver, but it's not a driver. It does not install a driver. There's no driver installed. So I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do.
Well,
if you have answers to this question, please call in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the solution is. My next step is going to be call Behringer and complain to them because they've got. I mean,
oh yeah, that'll be helpful.
I don't know. Maybe there's something else I can install. I've tried the default Windows drivers. I've tried Behringer's drivers. I've installed ASIO for all. That doesn't do anything.
The problem with ASIO is that Skype doesn't recognize it unless they've changed it, which I haven't looked at it in 2 years.
But it's not a driver. I installed it. It's not a driver. It's a program that runs. But there's no way to link it to the sound card.
What I'm saying though is that if a sound card has, I mean, almost all, as far as I know, every sound card now has ASIO drivers available. Every pure sound card.
And I don't, but so the question is inside of the device manager, do you see that the sound card's driver is ASIO?
I know that whenever Behringer quote unquote installs ASIO drivers, it shows up as ASIO because it supposedly takes over your Windows sound cards.
Mine has not. That's what I think my problem is. But there's just no information. I mean, the ASIO thing is literally an exe that installs. There's nothing to configure.
But to my knowledge, if you install ASIO on the sound card, Skype can't see it. It only sees WDM drivers. And again, I haven't checked it in 2 years.
And I tried this in Audacity, which is I guess which is a recording software. It just even inside of the Windows sound settings, you can normally see the levels of your audio if you open up your sound control panel and go to recording. And there's there's nothing in any of those, and I can't even initialize the device to record. It says error opening device. Maybe it's the privacy thing. That may make sense because the outputs work. It's the inputs that don't. That may be it. I'll have to, when the update happens again, I'll have to check it.
I'm looking in my
Really lousy guitar amps. They still do, as far as I know.
I'm looking in my sound settings because I've got the Behringer, just like you do, and all of them just say USB audio codec, and the driver doesn't say anything about ASIO. I think you told
You're not
me
using ASIO. You're using the default Windows audio drivers.
yes,
Correct.
that's what you told me to do when I switched to Windows 10. Yeah, and so far,
well, actually, as I look at it right now, I've got this privacy for microphone thing off, and it works. So I don't think that's my problem. And it says apps, which means Windows 10 apps.
Well, you'll figure it out.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway. We all have Netflix.
Amazon Prime.
We're paying for Netflix. Netflix has confirmed that it will start airing video ads for other Netflix series between episodes. These ads will reportedly only be for Netflix content, not outside products or content, and will, at least for now, only appear for a segment of Netflix user base. So they're starting to advertise all their other content.
Sounds like the BBC in England. We don't have advertisements on the BBC apart from the other programs that we like to show you and ram down your throat every chance we get.
Yeah, same thing in Israel. That was the public channel, the one managed by the government. No, they're not allowed to advertise there, but still stop everything to show you about other programs. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I mean, come on. I'm paying you for it. You know.
Exactly, yeah. £140 a year, I think it is. I might be wrong. I can't remember now, but it's over £100 anyway. Lots of pennies.
Yeah, well, you're paying cable as well, and you're getting
yeah, that's true. Absolutely. And for listen to this here now. Amazon is developing a new device that will record live TV, working around cable providers and encroaching on TiVo's market, according to a person familiar with the planes. The device, dubbed Frank inside Amazon, is a new type of digital video recorder for the streaming era. It would include physical storage and connect to Amazon's existing Fire TV boxes, the living room hub for the company's online video efforts. The Frank DVR has the same wireless technology that Amazon's Echo speakers use to connect to Fire TV boxes. Users will be able to record live TV and stream the video to a smartphone so it can be watched later. That functionality is similar to offerings from TiVo and Dish's Slingbox. Amazon hasn't made a final decision on rolling out the streaming feature, that person said, and noting that the plans could either be canceled or delayed. So,
Well, I think it's good that they're going to have competition, and certainly from a big player like Amazon, they actually can throw something at it that may be worthwhile. But will it flop like their Fire TV and phones did?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, competition is always good
Oh,
for
yeah,
all of us.
absolutely.
Yeah. But it's just amazing that record live TV. I remember when reading, a lot of people are saying, "Well, how can I record the live TV off the air or whatever?" I'm assuming that this is what they're talking about here too.
The modern video cassette recorder.
919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. Come on, guys, call in.
Well, I did a little bit of multitasking just now because when I came on, I thought, "Oh, where's my picture of my dog gone?" And Minicam wasn't working. Device driver failed. But now it's coming up. I've just installed a new version. I got the studio for a remarkably cheap price. I think it was £29 or dollars, was it, for a lifetime. I thought, wow, that's a bargain. Far too good to miss.
Huh?
Very good price for a lifetime. And my doggy, should anyone be interested in dogs, is 3 tomorrow. See, nobody's interested in dogs. Carry on, everybody.
It's fine.
I just felt bad because we won't be able to be there for the party.
No, Dad's actually. I wasn't going to do a party, but Dad's bought her a present, put it in a box, wrapped it up. And I was thinking, Dad, you don't need to go to this trouble. She's a dog. She's not going to know one day from the next. Oh no, I've got to make a special effort. Okay, Dad, I'm just going to give her a fluffy toy and say, there you go, a new one.
You should answer, right? It's a bit cynic, so sorry about that, but you should answer. So that's what's going to happen when I'm going to have dementia? Nobody's going to.
Here's a squishy toy ball. Enjoy.
It's going to happen eventually. I just
looks like a computer.
realistic about it.
So, for all of you that are complaining about high prices of memory and SSDs and all that, with the industry currently facing very large surplus of NAND flash memory, analysts suggest we could see a very significant price drop in SSD and even DRAM in 2019. They said to expect a price correction over the next several quarters. Predictions are that the flash memory industry is headed for a downward pricing correction in 2019, if not a full-on collapse. If prices crash, we could be looking at NAND prices as low as 8 cents per gig. Right now, it's 30 cents per gig.
I can sense a 1 terabyte SSD coming on.
Yeah.
Some A-Data had a 960 gigabyte. I saw it on sale this week for like $150.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, I bought one from them a couple months ago. I just have yet to install it.
And Nick, I sent you the link to the NVIDIA story last night in Skype.
Let's see what
and it's that's also amazing. The only reason I did that for the rest of you, Nick was, putting a computer here, computer there at the station, and he always shied away from buying another GPU, another display card, because they were so expensive.
Even the low end ones, the whole market has been exaggerated.
So I went, after reading this, I went on Amazon and looked for the NVIDIA 1050. And I saw from EVGA.
Yep. Probably.
$129 with 2 gig.
They're coming down in price.
So they are coming down,
The market is leveling out, which is good. I need a new GPU here, so it's good that it's leveling out.
And the reason was if I can find the article. They're giving up on, NVIDIA 9-month crypto gold rush is over. They said our core platforms exceeded our expectations even as crypto largely disappeared. Founder and chief executive Jensen Huang said on last Thursday on a conference call, "We are projecting no crypto mining going forward." NVIDIA said it had expected about $100 million in sales of chips bought by currency miners in the fiscal second quarter. Instead, the total was $18 million. And that revenue is likely to disappear entirely in future quarters. So investors are expressing their concern at a sudden collapse of what had looked like $1 billion business 3 months ago. NVIDIA said it generated $289 million in sales from cryptocurrency miners, but warned the demand was declining rapidly and might fall by as much as 2/3. Even that prediction was too optimistic. So apparently, not as many people now are mining.
Well, yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, the market. Here's the thing: it's not that not as many people are mining. I think. Well, I'm sure that's the case, but the people mining are buying. They're not buying new hardware.
Yeah,
The people that are mining are buying old rigs that people are not old rigs, but used rigs that people are selling. I don't think people are going to Amazon and buying 6 10
right.
50s or 1060s to mine. They're going on eBay and buying a cryptocurrency rig that is, been in use for a couple hundred hours, or something like that.
Yeah, but that's the reason that the video card prices went way up. I mean, way up. Is because there was a lot of demand.
Like $200 or $300 above MSRP.
Yeah.
What you could buy the card for. You're talking $700, $800, $900 for a GPU that previously would have cost $400 or $500. MSRP, not for sell on eBay like a flipper. Literally the MSRP, what Amazon was selling it for.
Well, the sun was shining and the card manufacturers made a fortune in that time. Good for them.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Gal, which card is Shai using now for gaming?
We have the P180, the 1080. Sorry.
Oh,
yeah. When we bought it 2 years now, but I bought it as part of a bundle from. It's a Dell machine. It's an Alienware. Paid a lot of money on it.
Alienwares are good.
Oh yeah. They're sweet.
Nice.
I used to run everything on it, but then I offloaded most of it to a Linux computer, which runs 24/7. And this is today mainly a gaming rig. It's where I broadcast. I mean, when I sit down, when we do the radio show. And since Shai, my son, he got introduced back to PC computing, and he understood that the rig I built is amazing. He stopped using the consoles almost altogether. So
he got induced back to the PC master race for gaming. Yes.
Well, it all has to do with friends, right? But suddenly he found out that his friends are playing PC games as well, and then he started playing, and it's a lot better. And I was telling him, I was trying to tell you that from the beginning. But yeah, so
yeah.
So now now what used to be my throne, I can't sit on it most of the time.
I mean, you could change that, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't take much, right?
The nice thing is that he has the illusion that this rig is going with him to college.
Yeah, right.
About a year when he leaves. No way.
Hey, here you go. Find something on Craigslist. An old workstation. You'll be good to go.
Yeah, but I mean, gaming rigs in general, I remember some friends looking for a solution that wasn't, breaking the bank, and Costco's pre-built machine are uh, are an amazing competitors to stuff like Alienware.
Well, you
So
know what's interesting is if you're in the PC gaming realm, if you even mention pre-built systems from iBuyPower, Alienware, CyberPower, anybody that sells off the box or out of the box uh, kits, it's like the cardinal sin of PC gaming is to buy one of those pre-built rigs. But when the GPU market was as exaggerated as it was, people were buying those rigs and taking the GPUs out and using them. And they're really not. If you can get something on sale, sometimes you can get a really good deal. Most of the time, it's it's obviously a little bit cheaper to build yourself. But my first system was a CyberPower that I purchased, and I thought it was a pretty good deal. This was right after the big memory fire, and the memory market was through the roof, and they doubled the memory for free, which was something that would have cost me probably another $150. So it's not always not always that. It's not always bad.
no, I know, and I know what you mean by the judgment you get for buying. I used to be that way as well, but first of all, when you're talking about laptops, that's completely impossible. And still, there's some sweet deals in places like Costco for machines that would otherwise cost you double elsewhere. And when it comes to a home desktop tower, then yeah, you're right. It can be easier to build your own, but you never get the same warranty. You never get the same coverage, right? So if I'm not one to, I mean, I have a day job, right? And there's some stuff that I don't want to put myself too deep into. I want to enjoy this one. So if I buy a PlayStation, then I can also buy a pre-built rig and enjoy it, I think, the same way.
Yeah, and it all depends on what you're trying to do.
But that's probably because I'm no longer a child, right? So it has that to do as well. I mean, there are other things I want to put my focus on, my efforts on.
Yeah, and again, it totally depends on what you're playing. If you're playing the run of the mill AAA title games, you can absolutely get away with almost any pre-built rig because it's just you're playing games that are pretty mainstream. But if you're a real performance user and you're one of those the 1444 hertz and or all that stuff, then that's when you have to start pre-building or building yourself because nobody sells a system that will do all of that stuff at 144 hertz and 1440p and all this other stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So we were talking about mining. Bitcoin touched below 6,000, and dozens of smaller digital tokens, including Ether, retreated as this month's sell-off in cryptocurrencies showed few signs of letting up. So apparently, a lot of them are going lower and lower and lower, losing. Um, Nick, you're gonna go broke,
Why?
huh? Well,
Why am I going to go broke?
because of the Bitcoin is going down.
Oh yeah, I know. $40 I have invested. And I need a place to stay. God, I need to borrow. Can I borrow your computer? I need to scrap for Bitcoin.
Well, I can
Oh,
tell you one of the I don't remember if we talked about it. Storage services based on cryptocurrency. There's I know of, I think two. There's one that I remember I don't think they're even the prominent one, but they're very interesting. Sia.io, if I remember their site correctly, where they have this idea of instead of relying on large data centers, relying having storage, cloud storage being leased over a blockchain. So have all the leases for storage be recorded on a blockchain, and the software that manages all of that. If I have a free terabyte of storage and I want to lease it out, then I basically publish to the network an open lease. I commit by paying the cryptocurrency as a deposit, saying that the storage will be available on this speed and for this amount of time, etc. And the software does all of this automatically, right? It handles all of these details automatically. And so on your side, you run a client, you provision a section of your hard drive, say this folder is where people will, once they lease, they can use that stored. You have zero access to the content because the content is encrypted. It's not like you can identify who and what is being stored on your machine. But this allows, other than the copy that will be on your machine, there'll be bits and pieces that are spread out across the entire network. So everything is distributed, so you don't have a single point of failure. It's a very interesting concept. And that is taking cryptocurrency and giving it value, right? That is not, it's not necessarily attached to dollar. The dollar value here will be more of how much does the storage cost, right? So even though it is based on some mining scheme and there is currency that you can trade in, and then do exchange rates and all that, the value is driven by what it actually protects and what it actually represents. So it's an interesting concept.
And you're talking about blockchain and that the new one of the new CDNs or platform that I'm looking at is dlive.io, and they you can monetize your stuff there. They pay you with Bitcoin. There is something. I mean, I looked at that. I said, "What does it have to do with gaming?" Because when you log in order to stream, you have to log in with a Steam account. Now, that's not the Steam, STEAM, that STEEM.
Oh man, that's confusing.
And it's Steam IT that I can't remember. I went and I set up an account and all that. I mean, I'm just trying it. But yeah, they're paying you with cryptocurrency. If you make money with them. But the main thing is they when you go in, it's a blockchain. The whole CDN is based on that, and that's great. I mean, to be the word that I was looking at is decentralized, and that is great. So we'll see. I'm talking with them back and forth, and they're helpful. dlive.io.
I've got a quick question. I don't know how it's kind of it's kind of on topic. It's technology based. So I'll be flying here in the next Thursday. Not this Thursday. Next Thursday, the 6th. Going out to actually that's not true. It is next Thursday, the 30th. And I'm flying Delta, and it looks like they offer a 24-hour in-flight Wi-Fi for $16. Is that something that we
How
think
long is
worth
the
it?
flight?
About 5.5 hours.
Oh, come on. Take a
Yeah,
nap.
but I don't think it includes streaming.
It probably doesn't include streaming. I mean, it probably doesn't include. I guess the question is, is it worth that on a flight?
If you're Johnny, it's worth it. You don't think about it. If you're Mike, it's way too expensive.
But okay, but now let me question you on that. Why? Why is that too expensive? What?
Because I can do a lot of things with $16 other than play on text messaging on the phone for 5
Now,
hours.
now that's not what this is. They
I
offer
can
free
read a
text. They offer free text messaging on.
I could read the manual on the transmitter
Oh,
in that.
Okay, wait a second. Wait, Mike. So, Nick, what would you do with it?
I don't know.
No, I mean, why would you want?
That's why I'm asking. I really
Why
don't
would
know.
you want? No. Let's say that it was free.
Emailing.
Let's say
Well,
it was
I'd
free.
be on Slack. I mean, I'd be able to read my email. I'd be accessible.
And can they not call you?
Not on the flight, no.
I don't know.
No. I mean, Delta offers free iMessaging, Facebook Messenger, and WhatsApp messaging on their domestic flights for free. So I'll have my phone hooked up so I can send and receive text message.
So if you don't have it, and something happens at the station, nobody can get you.
I'm just saying in general. I mean, I don't know. Is it worth $16 to have internet for 5 hours?
My vote is no.
It all depends.
If the station wants you in contact those 5 hours, then let them pay for it.
I'm not even talking about station, just in general for me personally.
No.
I mean, I don't know. Is it
no?
But you don't take it. Don't take it like that, Nick.
I'm not.
No. What I'm saying is, if something happens at the station and they're trying to get wait. Let me finish. Let me finish. If something happens at the station while you're on the air, can they get a hold of you anywhere if you do not have the Wi-Fi?
Yeah,
they can.
This is true.
Then I don't see why.
Well, no, you said they can because
they can iMessage.
You will have but
I mean,
have
text messaging. Yeah.
Well,
and if then comes the emergency, then you can buy in and connect TeamViewer or whatever.
This I don't even know if TeamViewer is probably blocked. This doesn't seem that this expensive though. I mean, I'm thinking realistically. I'm trying to remember the last time I think the last time I flew American, I want to say they charged $5 an hour for internet or something like that.
I think that's still possible, even with the 16 a day. Ask yourself this: you go into a hotel, foreign country, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they say there's no free Wi-Fi. By the way, in Europe is very common, no free Wi-Fi, right? And you can pay 24 euros for today, and you'll get internet.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends. I don't know.
Well,
$16 doesn't seem outrageous,
right? It's not
because from what I remember, I haven't flown a whole lot, but from what I remember, these services used to be almost unobtainable. They were so expensive. I mean,
and that's why it seemed you say, well, it's not, and it's not $16. You go twice to get coffee over at what's that place and
Starbucks, one coffee.
But the point is, do you need it? You see,
I don't know. It's a good question.
I would if I was flying for 5 hours. And what time do you leave?
7 a.m.
Yeah, I would just take a nap.
Well, easier said than done.
I remember the old days where we just had things called books.
Yeah. What happened to the days?
That's what I normally do when I fly to and from home in New York. Those flights are short enough that they don't offer that service. And that's what I do. I read a book.
Just ask them for the headphones and plug it into you.
Well, I doubt there's even going to be. They're probably. I don't know if there'll be any in-flight whatever that's called, media or whatever that whole thing is.
In-flight entertainment.
In-flight entertainment.
But this is interesting. how much?
Actually, it's
Like-
it's a 6-hour flight. I lied. It's 6 hours.
How much does it cost them?
Oh, there is live satellite TV. Now, if that's the case, that's normally free, from what I remember.
So take a TV with you.
I'll bring a radio with me. I wonder if I can listen to the radio on the plane.
Oh. Well, I mean, Alan is saying, did you see the chat? It says,
Now let me click back.
use an FM antenna and listen. And you know how to fix an antenna now. So
You guys
just
are
before
really
you board the
bunch of
plane, ask.
smartasses on the show this morning. I don't know. I just I mean, this is it's definitely obtainable. In-flight
Yeah.
Wi-Fi, $16.
For somebody that needs to have the internet.
But what if I want?
This
the
is
question
this is
what
a
that
great price.
point? Is $16? When
Yeah.
does that cross the when does that cross the line of need versus want? Is $16 low enough where
Well,
just wanting it? I mean, I don't know.
The way that Mike put it, if you're as rich as Nick, then $16.
It's nothing.
You know, you want it, you take it.
Hey, they could charge me $160. It wouldn't matter. It's all the same.
We just have to ask yourself the question: can you really survive for 6 hours without being connected?
Yeah, I think so.
It'll be a good
Well,
test. It'll be a good test.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, these last couple days when I haven't been in front of I wasn't in front of a computer for hours.
I can just imagine at the end of the flight after 6 hours, they'll have to carry him off as a blubbering wreck.
As I run and go to the video game convention, as I'm just
Nick will come off the plane and go, Wi-Fi, where's Wi-Fi?
Oh, 4G. I need to send my Snap messages.
I don't know what you're laughing, but my 17-year-old, that is exactly the reaction.
Oh boy.
Oh, they offer a meal service as well. This is going to be good. I'll spend more on this flight on BS during the flight than I spent on flying.
Nick,
A meal service, that's a pack of peanuts, isn't it?
No, this is full lunch, breakfast, and drink meal service.
Wow.
This is almost as long of a domestic flight as you can get.
Nick,
6 hours.
Minor LA is answering your question.
Oh. It's only money.
Yep,
I mean, you know
that's
what I'll
it.
do? I'm gonna,
That's
Mike,
it.
Will you pay for my in-flight Wi-Fi?
No.
Worth a try.
Oh
This
boy.
is a learning experience. We need to learn not to waste money, even though you have unlimited.
Yep. It's a chance for you to get semi off the grid.
Yeah, OTG as I'm flying through the air in a space machine. Yeah.
Well,
off the grid. I don't know. I'll probably buy it.
We've wasted all this time.
Well, I'll buy it and I'll do a review on the show. There's my justification.
All right, so let's change directions.
I don't know. I thought it was an interesting topic.
And President Trump has reversed an Obama-era memorandum dictating how and when the U.S. government can deploy cyber weapons against its adversary in an effort to loosen restrictions on such operations. I was reading this and I was saying, so during the Obama days, he didn't just tie the soldiers' hands behind their back, that they could not shoot back unless they could not shoot unless they are shot at first. But we couldn't fight cyber attacks with cyber attacks? What in the world? I mean, this is what this whole world is coming to, is countries attacking other countries' computers. And we are limited. We are limiting our people, our law enforcement, our whatever you want to call it, by telling them, no, you can't do it under this circumstances, and you can't do it under. What in the world? The rest of the world doesn't care about circumstances.
In any large group or organization, this is what you run into: red tape.
Are you asking?
No, I'm saying.
Oh,
it's just
yeah,
what it is. This is
how
what
yeah.
happens.
Yeah, I
Let
mean
me tell you,
that's
you just
that-
stupid rules and things get put in place for no good reason, and that's just the way it is.
it's ridiculous. I'm glad he did this. I mean, this is great. Let them do their job. They're there for a reason. We're being attacked every day. I mean, computers are vulnerable. Our computers are open to the world to hack into. By doing it, you learn how to protect your systems. If you don't do it, then you don't know how the other side is doing it to you. So yeah, I'm glad this happened. What else was there? Where's your laptop? Well, never mind. Plenty of hackers, journalists, and technologists. Yeah, there he goes. Love to cover the laptops in all manner of stickers.
Oh, look at this! What a great story. This is not planned.
Maybe one shows off their employer, another flaunts that local crypto party they attended, or others may display the laptop owner's interest in Bitcoin. That's all well and good, but a laptop lid full of stickers also arguably provides something of a red flag to authorities or hackers who may want to access sensitive information stored on that computer or otherwise cause the owner hassle. Conferences, border crossings, airports, public places, stickers will and can get you targeted for opposition research, industrial espionage, and privacy for technology and activism group Tactical Tech.
I've got a solution.
He said that, for instance, when you have one of those, can land you in a secondary search or results in being detained while crossing a border. In one case, he said that a hacker friend ended up missing a flight over stickers.
I'm going to put an Antifa sticker on my laptop,
So,
and nobody will stop me. I'm good to go.
I mean, it stands out kind of. What, Mike?
He just got you banned on about half your CDNs.
I'm going to be targeted by the Drupal people because I've got WordPress stickers. The Drupal folks are going to come after me. Hopefully the TSA agent isn't a big Drupal fan.
It's just, it's amazing that they even think about this.
They don't.
But
it's just
true.
I mean, yeah, of course they've got to waste somebody's time.
Yeah.
So they've got to pull people out for having. What you just read is that because of a sticker on a laptop, people are missing their flights and are being harassed by the TSA.
Yeah,
is what you just read.
Yeah.
Isn't that the most ridiculous damn thing you've ever heard?
That's what they mean. That's what the article is.
That's good.
telling.
I'm glad that's what taxpayer dollars are going to fund, so that I can get harassed at the airport for having a freaking Bitcoin sticker on my laptop. That's fantastic. God bless America. Well, it's so asinine. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It is.
Well, I mean, the article mentions Bitcoin, mentions all of that, but it's probably more about whether you have an ISIS sticker or
but you're not. I mean, you wouldn't have an ISIS sticker on your laptop. I mean, if I'm not going to walk around with a ticket that says I'm a terrorist on my computer,
they will. They will.
Somebody will.
That's true, but I just.
Hey, you're boarding a flight soon. Let put an interesting sticker.
I mean, if you really want to be brave, put a Trump sticker on it.
That's actually great. Here. I'll put this on my laptop. You think this will get me stopped at TSA?
No, you'll go to jail. They'll detain you for being a terrorist.
You'll be banned from the flight.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No, I've never had it. I don't think I've ever. None of my stickers all my stickers are WordPress, HTML, CSS, PHP, and the Reddit logo. So I think I'm good.
Yeah, so they know right away.
Screaming.
So-
Hacker, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at me.
Oh, yeah, screaming badass. Look at me with all my stickers.
He's a geek.
Yeah, there you go. I need to be harassed by TSA.
So Apple did something this week. Apple has quietly pulled iOS 12 Beta 7 software
Uh-oh.
aimed at developers and enthusiasts less than a day after rolling it out. Even as the company has not offered an explanation or an acknowledgement, according to users, performance issue might be the reason. I got to give it to them. They see a problem, they pulled it out. Nice.
This is their beta that they pulled.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's nice that they pulled it out and didn't get to the point where people start complaining. So that's good.
When a company like that pulls something out, it's because it should have never been out there.
Well, yeah,
they didn't do the due diligence as they are supposed to, because the complexity and the audience, right?
Yeah.
Merits that. You can say, you can take the hat and say, yeah, well done, but this should have never happened to something in this arena. It's not a small shop talking with 5 customers and saying one is testing something and it's almost broke, right? This is the implications are way larger.
Well, and here's something for you, Gal. Kodi boxes. Facebook previously banned the sale of fully loaded pirate streaming devices.
Facebook? Amazon?
Well, it says Facebook. I guess you could sell it on Facebook too.
Oh, yeah.
As did Amazon and eBay. But the social network, talk about Facebook, appears to have expanded this to all Kodi-powered hardware now. This is made clear in the prohibited content section of the company's commerce policies. So before, they blocked Kodi boxes that were loaded with software that you could get. Now, even if you get one that's blank, if it's powered by Kodi, you can sell it on the Facebook market, whatever they call it.
Yeah, well, that sounds terrible to me.
We're gonna ban the sale of cardboard boxes because people put things that are stolen in them.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So what next? Are they gonna ban duffel bags because robbers go to the bank and rob it and put it in a duffel bag?
Exactly, it's something.
Madness.
Ski masks. No more ski masks.
Yeah, no more ski masks.
Yeah.
It's.
Well, I'm amazed. Do they still allow masks in general? Right?
I don't know.
It messes up Facebook facial recognition. So come on. I don't know. It's
I guess
it always happens, right?
Yeah.
When some sort of disruptive technology comes in and allows freedom, there's always an attempt to control. I just hope it'll be nipped in the bud and not I don't know. It's like,
not if the entertainment industries are behind it. They'll keep going and going and going and going.
Yeah.
Until all our freedoms have gone. Sorry, I sound really depressed. I'll stop now.
Talking about freedom and privacy. The Australian government wants to force companies to help it get its suspected criminals' data. If they can't, it would jail people for up to a decade if they refuse to unlock their phones. The country's Assistance and Access Bill, introduced this week for public consultation, strengthens the penalties for people who refuse to unlock their phones for the police. Right now, under Australia's existing crime act, judges could jail a person for 2 years for not handing over their data. So it already exists there. The proposed bill extend that to up to 10 years, arguing that the existing penalty wasn't strong enough. So you're talking about privacy and freedom to do what you want. I mean, we're talking Australia. Australia is not a dictatorship. We're not talking about Russia.
Well, they don't
No,
have
but
enough people in their jails. That's the problem. They need to extend the time so they have more people in jail.
Well, if you're investigating a murder investigation,
Mhm.
and you tell somebody you're going to be 2 years just because you didn't want to open the phone and you suspect is the murderer, then 2 years isn't enough
True.
to scare him, right? I don't like it, but it does sound effective.
Oh yeah, I mean, otherwise they wouldn't be
Yeah.
doing this. But
I wouldn't want to be on the other side of this
sure, of course.
law, but yeah, I think the police do need some stick that is scary enough and that is easily removed, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, they need to be able, but I mean, right now, I mean, look what was happening with Apple. What, 2 years ago? When was it with the
yeah,
shooter?
but that's the interesting thing. So, right, Apple, they refuse to unlock
Yeah,
the phone from the dead guy's phone, and that's okay. I get that. But about, if I remember correctly, about 2 weeks later, somebody came up with
yeah.
how to hack it in an effective time. So suddenly, even saying, look, for 2 years you're gonna be locked up, right? In those 2 years, we can get it open. It's not that there's this backlog that is, and it's impossible, and it takes so much processing time. It can be hacked. So I
Oh,
don't know.
anything can be hacked, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to have a stick, but there has to be checks and balances. It can't be
Yeah,
that you're just walking down the street checking your mail and the policeman comes and say, "Give me your phone."
Well,
They have to have a good reason. They have to,
yeah, they're talking about what a judge will allow,
Yeah,
right?
that you
So
see, that's judges. Yeah,
yeah. It's not the police that gets the authority, it's the
right,
judge that
right,
determines how much to give them.
correct.
So it's not just the arm, but also the head. I don't know.
And until we hear an outcry, it says, "What? I was just streaming a show." And
Then
other
remove it.
people start complaining the same thing, then they say, "Okay, now you're abusing it." But we may not hear anything about it because it's in Australia. But I would think that if it's not being abused, it's fine. It's fine by me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know anything about Australia's track record with privacy,
Yeah.
right? And so it'll be interesting.
They've got they've got some weird stuff, and not on the privacy side, but they've got some weird stuff there.
What happened to your video?
It's a good question.
Go ahead. You're not what? There you go.
Okay. They're weird with stuff. I remember there was a video game that recently came out that their board of whatever put a block on due to for some reason or another. So I don't know how relevant that is, but they do something like that.
Well, another thing to ponder and to think about here. At the Usenix Security Conference this week, a group of Princeton University security researchers will present a study that considers a little examined question in power grid cybersecurity. And I never thought about it either. What if hackers attacked not the supply side of the power grid, but the demand side? The researchers estimate that just a 1% bump in demand might be enough to take down the majority of the grid. So they don't have to go and attack the grid itself, the generating, the power generating networks. They can just go. They were talking about turn on your water heater, everybody's water heater, at 2 in the afternoon on a hot day. A lot of people don't. A lot of people have that thing installed that during high demand it cuts it off. Air conditioners, toasters, things like that. If with all that IoT that you can control it and it's really not secured, all they have to do is just turn everything on, and suddenly there's so much demand on the grid that it goes offline. This is who thinks about these things. It is scary. So yeah, not the supply side, but the demand side. No. And you need to watch your bank account the next few weeks. The FBI is warning banks about a global fraud scheme known as ATM cash out, in which criminals hack a bank or payment card processor and use cloned cards at cash machines around the world to fraudulently withdraw millions of dollars in just a few hours.
Unfortunately, I don't have millions of dollars in my bank account.
Well,
so
the thing is, without going too deep into this, it's amazing the way that they explain how they doing it. They break into a bank system. They change the settings to allow any amount of cash to be taken out at the ATM. They take that, whatever. There's a limit on what you can take out. They move money into accounts that they have cards for, information for, and right away they go at it to take it out. It's elaborate, but apparently there's a bunch of organized crime groups that are doing this.
Yeah, and probably the FBI, by warning us, is covering the bankers' asses.
No. They're not warning us. They're not warning us. They were warning the banks. I'm just saying, yeah, warn the bank. That's okay, but I need to watch my.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah, because God forbid the bank had any liability.
And they said that the scheme in the coming days is likely associated with an unknown card issuer breach, and commonly is referred to as unlimited operation.
That's convenient.
Yeah.
If you're trying to
unknown card issuer breach.
Yeah.
Unknown to what? To the public or to the FBI?
Unknown to you and I.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't say.
Right.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah.
You don't deserve that information.
Ask Alex Jones about that. Yeah, it's like they gave up a bit too much detail than what they should, right? It actually sounds like a subversive message from the FBI because I can't tell you anything about this, but I can't tell you. It's like, now now you need to know more. So
Yeah, it does sound like it. How many people actually, well, in the chat, I know not here, not among us, that paid Facebook for advertising?
I've paid. I've done Facebook ads.
You did?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
In a complaint filed on Wednesday in a U.S. District Court in Oakland, California, plaintiffs Danielle Singer and her company, Project Therapy LLC, claim the potential reach and estimated daily reach figures that Facebook provides to advertisers are widely inflated.
Yes, sir.
Fact.
As an
Absolute
example, what?
Absolute fact.
As an example, the complaint claims that Facebook purported potential reach among 18 to 34-year-olds in each U.S. state is greater than the actual population of 18 to 34-year-olds in each of those states.
The problem that's where these facts get in the way of reality, and I hate it when that happens.
Well, here's the real problem here.
Wait, let Mike
and that
finish.
wasn't a real problem.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was done. I was picking on Nick.
Oh,
No, here's the real problem. We deal with this crap in our industry every day. In the radio industry, we've got all of these businesses that say, "Oh, we do Facebook ads and we reach a bazillion people."
Yeah.
We give them $20 and we reach 100 million people.
mm-hmm.
The problem is Facebook is admitted that the numbers are absolute BS. They've admitted that. It's public knowledge that it's BS. But but businesses think that Facebook advertising is effective because, oh my God, I reached 150,000 people with $15, which you could literally can do. I mean, Amnon, if you put $20 into the Computers 2K Now page, you could probably get 1,000 likes on the page.
But you can. But the point here is that the thing that got my interest in it is to say we can say, oh, you want 18 to 34? Okay, they're in your city because you want business to come in. In your city, there are 70,000 of those.
Mm-hmm.
So we can send it to them. When you look at the stats of your city, it says, oh, there are only 30,000 18 to 34. Well, how are you telling me that there are 70?
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
But the business owners, they care about the number. They see the number.
Yeah, right. That's the problem.
They see, wow, 70,000 people I reached. That's incredible. That's way more effective than television, radio, and newspaper advertising.
No,
that's a problem we deal with in our industry here every single day. Is this Facebook is lying? They are literally making numbers up for these Facebook statistics. I mean, Amnon, you can look at any of the pages you manage. Look at post reach. I mean, those numbers are absolute BS.
It is BS.
But hey, it's a number.
And that's why I tell all the hosts on Nissan Communications when they ask me about numbers, I say, don't pay attention to the numbers. Well, but if I want to monetize it, and I said, then you just find the people that understand it. And because, I can tell you it's going out to 10,000 people. Prove that it's not. Yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean, if you're going to help somebody monetize something, then you know that they are going to exaggerate where it's going so they'll get somebody to do it. And it doesn't do anybody any good. What, Mike?
This is why I've preached over and over again back when I was involved with trying to help podcasters out, and but kind of like trying to change the direction the Mississippi's flowing. But the point that I made to these guys who wanted to monetize, who are going to quit their day jobs and do podcasting full time, what I tell these people is all the numbers in the world don't mean anything. That you have to understand that anybody who spends money with you wants to see a return. They want the money they spend to cause them to make more money. theoretically, in the advertising business, I mean, this sounds like it's too good to be true, but it really is not. The fact is that advertising is free if it works. And that is that if I give you $1 and make 10, then that's a good deal. That dollar didn't cost me anything. I made a $9 profit on it. But having said that, that with podcasters, I would tell them repeatedly, I don't care if you got 50,000 downloads or if you got 500 downloads. The advertisers are going to measure you by how much response they get. Oh, well, they just use us to enhance their image. I said, no, that means you don't have any listeners.
Yeah, it's just as bad. It's just as bad in podcasting too.
Well, it's everywhere. I mean, it's human nature. There's nothing unique about it, but Wiggs is exactly right. Newspapers, well, he's being sarcastic. But newspapers, I mean, we had when I was in the radio business back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the newspaper would put out some ridiculous circulation numbers that people would use against us, and I never was able to nail it down in those days. But ultimately, we found out that I think it was the local paper. One of them finally admitted that they wouldn't write it down, but their ad salespeople were telling, and hell, it may have been back when I was doing it, but they were telling their salespeople were telling advertisers that yes, our circulation is only 6,000, but actually it's 24,000 because every paper is read by 4 people.
Mhm.
There you go.
And they know that for a fact.
Well, I mean, those back in the old days, we were a subscriber and we never read it, so that blew 4 of them right there. We
It's
used
a, but it's a big problem in the advertising industry.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem.
Big.
Facebook knows exactly what they're doing. I don't blame them for doing it. I mean, that's why. I mean, people are spending the hundreds of thousands of dollars a year advertising on Facebook.
I mean, it's become, as Nick knows, I do some sales consulting with the station down there, and the whole advertising business has become so new and different that you almost have to become an entertainer or an actor or a comedian to be able to get through some of the crap and nonsense that's out there, and not everyone has the personality to do it.
Yeah, and I think the trick here is to not. I mean, you need to advertise your business. Just go ahead and advertise it according to the budget that you have.
I have a
And
budget.
if you have $100, you don't go to a TV station. You go to a small radio station that can do something with that money, and you see what happens.
Yeah, but Amnon, it's a whole hell of a lot easier to take the Visa card and pump $100 into Facebook and
Well,
not have to deal with some stupid
yeah.
salesperson that's going to harass you. I mean, this is the this
Yeah,
is why it's
yeah.
so effective, because you don't have to deal with anybody. You can just type in your debit card on ads.facebook.com and you've got $100 worth of advertising, and you haven't done you haven't lifted a finger.
Right, and
Super
then you see what
see that you reach a bazillion people.
Well,
which Facebook
it doesn't
lied
matter,
about.
but don't bank on it. Wait to see what return, like Mike said, what return you getting.
How do you measure? How do you measure return?
By people?
You measure.
I mean,
but you measure based off their statistics they're giving you.
No.
No. How many people walk in and buy?
Right.
But now here's the thing: Facebook tells you that you've reached 100,000 people with your post.
Yeah.
You're attributing anybody coming in to say, "Oh, they must have seen it on Facebook. They must have seen it on Facebook."
No. You have to ask.
Well, no, that's useless as well, because 1% of the people or 2% will volunteer where they saw it. The way you have to do it, I mean, if this is really, and this is actually is a good point, because one of the hardest things to sell against is you go to an advertiser who's wasting his money in a newspaper, wasting his money doing digital. He's buying TV and other radio, and you go and say, we want you to buy from us. Well, you know what? What I'm doing is working, and I'm not sure what's working, and I hate to tamper with it. And that's it's a valid argument. I get that, because they don't want to pull the plug on which one of the above is working, if any of them. It may be the sign, it may be his community involvement, it may be anything. But having said that, if you really wanted to know, you would have to, for a period of time, stop everything and use one medium at a time to figure out which one it is. That's why in the radio business, one of the things we say is when you go in there and they would say, well, I don't believe your radio station has any listeners. And I'd say, well, I'll tell you what, let's find out if that's true. I understand your concern. It's a valid concern. We think we do. You don't have any way of knowing that we do. Let's try this. I want to run one ad. It's just one ad, and I want you to pay for it. I want you to buy the ad. I mean, let's be fair here. And what we want to say is that if, as a listener of this ad, you're entitled to receive a free $10 bill. Go by Joe Blow's Tire Service in the next 45 minutes, and you can get a free $10 bill. Just walk in and say, I listen to this radio station.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't do that, man. I'll be giving away too much money. No, you don't have anything to worry about if nobody's listening. Oh, well, that's just being silly. I said, well, either it is or it's not.
And I've heard this from Mike plenty of times, and it sounds ridiculous on face value, but the reality is if the reason somebody wouldn't want to do that is because they're afraid that droves of people and they would. I mean, Christ, if I was listening to the radio and it said that if you drive over 15 minutes away and get a $10 bill, I'd be over there instantly.
We did it when our radio station down in Laurinburg, we had a tire dealer, real cantankerous old fellow, met his untimely death in a horrible fashion. But he didn't believe us, and he was being sold a bill of goods by the competition, what have you. So, okay, well, let's do it. And I said, those days we were a little more tolerant. We gave him the ad, but he was only giving away $1 bills. So, okay, let's see if anybody's listening. So we did it. And ran, I don't know, 1 or 2 ads. He called, get that ad off the air. People are driving me crazy. Okay. So he became a regular advertiser, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Why?
Because of what I teach about sales prospects. Not all the time, but 95% of the time, the reason they're not buying from you, they're lying to you. There's always something else going on they won't tell you.
Bingo.
I remember the early days of me being in business and the Yellow Pages. They guarantee you a certain number of people that will call you. And the way that they did it, and because you could always cancel, they would put the ad in the Yellow Pages with a different telephone number that will forward to yours. And they could count how many calls went to that number. And the only people that would call that number will be people that are looking in the Yellow Pages. That was as close to reality as you could get.
Except they were probably lying about the number they gave you.
Nick had a job calling those numbers.
No, but but it's the same thing with Facebook, Amnon. If Facebook says you reach 100,000 people, you can't prove that it didn't. And it's the same thing with
that's
that.
right.
The Yellow Pages says, 10 people called you. What are you going to say?
But you see,
call log.
Okay, but there are ways if you're putting the ad yourself. Just like you see on TV when they say call this number or go to this website /875. And those companies have different numbers for different areas. So when somebody goes to the website to the 875, they know that they heard it on something, on a station. So you can do the same thing on Facebook if you wanted to put something, and you put your URL as nickcraig.com /offer 99.
Yeah.
Now, if people are coming to that page, then you know that it came because
I know.
Yeah.
But that's the difference between Facebook and that.
Right,
You give Facebook a link.
Yeah.
Yeah, you give Facebook. I mean, that's the whole business behind all the URL shorteners.
Yeah, but a lot of those are kind of BS too, because I've shortened URLs and I haven't posted them anywhere, and then all of a sudden clicks start trickling into them. How the hell is this possible?
Because they're going into especially Bitly. That's the one I've been
Bitly,
working
yeah.
with, right? So when you post the link, it is publicly posted into a stream.
Yeah.
So aggregators will start.
Picking it
Some of
up.
the aggregators will click it mechanically, although there are APIs that can provide the URL without clicking it, right? So it's not because they're lying, it's because there is a flaw in how it all works. But
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm looking on.
But you can run a self-hosted URL shortener where you have
But
complete control.
remember, this is how the Russians determined the outcome of our elections by putting
Here's an
ads by putting ads on
here's a,
Facebook.
here's an example. In January of this year, the wedding photographer I used to work for, we spent $10 to boost a post on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
The boosted post on we got 1,422 people were reached, and the link, which was a link to his website, generated 75 clicks. That's what Facebook told us.
75 clicks for $10.
Yeah, and it reached 1,400 people.
That's so. The question is, how many new customers did he get?
Probably none.
Well, then what good is it? If it's free, what good is it?
Well, that's the thing is how do you
Yeah.
do any of this stuff?
What if he'd said, "I'll give you a free Maserati with each new order"?
Yeah, exactly. There may have been a different result, but I mean, but what are those numbers based off, and how could anybody say those numbers are or aren't accurate?
But does Facebook say what reach means?
Reach means it was served. That means it was served to that many people's timelines, and they scrolled past them, or it was at least it was in front of somebody. Did they look at it, or did they scroll past it? Was it on the sidebar? They don't tell you any of that.
And in I don't even want to say it, but in Facebook's defense, what's said in the ad is important as well, because in the radio business, one of the things you have to deal with is you have an advertiser who offers a 2% discount if you come in and do business and say you heard from the station, and nobody comes in and asks for their 2% discount.
Or
Oh,
you offer a 10% discount and you walk into the store and try to use it, and the clerk doesn't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, that's different. And what I'm talking about at 2% is there's just no incentive for anyone to do it. And then they come back and say, "Oh, your radio station doesn't work." Okay, how about let's do a 50% discount? Oh, we can't afford to do that. Well, you can't have it both ways.
The other week, it was 2 weeks ago, I sent Nick the screenshot. I got, every week you get the report from Facebook, say you had so much reach, so many clicks, so many blah, blah, blah. And normally, I mean, Facebook, maybe 30, 40, 25, 29. I got it for that week, and it was 600 and, what was it, 639? Something like that.
Yeah, let me find it.
It was way, it said that it went up 1,300% from the previous week. And it had the BNI show on that page, which before I never seen that they picked up on what show did it. So the next time I saw Mike Manning, that does the BNI show, I said, "Mike, are you guys advertising for people to go and watch the show on Facebook?" He says, "We don't advertise anywhere." So I was telling him, he said, "Oh, I'll bet I know what it is." I can't remember the guy's name, Brian, who was on that show. He has a media company that advertises, that takes care of his marketing. And I'll bet you that they did something on Facebook
to boosted it
and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much they paid or whatever, but I mean, it blew my mind to look at it and say, what? and I didn't get a definite answer. I need to ask. I'm real curious. I need to ask Brian what did he do, and if that translated to business,
Now
because
there is a lot of organic sharing and reach on these platforms. I mean, if
yeah, oh yeah,
if your post, Amnon, was reposted by I mean, I don't know who would repost it locally, but if you're reposted by a page with, quarter, 500,000 likes, there is that possibility for that organic
there's always the
growth.
possibility. Absolutely, I agree with you 100%.
So those platforms do have that going for it, but the whole paying Twitter has this. You can buy ads on Twitter. You can buy ads that show up in people's timelines. How effective are they? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
And how accurate are the numbers that Facebook and Twitter get? You can buy them on Instagram too, by the way.
Did
Any of
you
them, all of them.
did you ever click on things like that? Did you just come by, you know?
No, because have I clicked on one? Probably.
But it's not a habit.
No, because it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty blatantly obvious when I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling through Facebook right now. I want to see if one will pop up. I want to see
Things that have nothing to do with your interests.
Exactly. I'm scrolling through my timeline and I see something that is like insane. I'm thinking, why is this popping up?
Yep.
I, of course, now it won't. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I'm scrolling through Facebook. There's a pop up for Dawn. Dawn helps save wildlife, and it's got that stupid bird soap. Because they were all killed by the oil spill in 2006 or whenever that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I see stuff like that, and it's why is this? Why is that on my timeline? It's pretty blatantly obvious.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's see. I've got a Home Depot ad that just popped up.
Yeah. So they're doing it.
That's a relevant ad, though. I mean, I was at Home Depot a couple times last week, so I mean, that's probably a targeted ad. That's using geofencing. My phone was at Home Depot. And I was whoever is doing their marketing, that I was geofenced at Home Depot, and now they're going to serve me ads.
Mm-hmm.
This is big business.
It is. Oh. It's very big business. Whether or not it's very big return for the advertisers, I don't know.
Now I'm getting a Cascade ad. I don't know why they think I'm all into this.
You need to wash your dishes.
Stuff. I know maybe there's a camera here. They're looking at the dirty dishes in this. I mean, I don't know what's going on. But here's a computer sponsor. NZXT is a sponsored ad. Create your own custom gaming PC. Tag a friend who needs a new gaming PC. That's a sponsored ad. You can see it says sponsored. That's a relevant ad.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yep.
And on another matter.
Yeah.
And we'll say it again. We have now seen it happen several times to people I know. If you have a Yahoo email account, well, to begin with, you need to get away from them. They're insecure. Second,
absolutely.
Yahoo was hacked. And if you have a Yahoo account, the scammers have your Yahoo password. If you don't do anything else, change your Yahoo password in any other account that uses that password. They're running scams such as we have if I understood this one correctly, a lady had, just local, a lady had an email from someone that says your password is this. And we have it on your computer. We have a video from your computer. It is pornographic, and unless you send us 1.16, whatever it is, $1,600 or $100 worth of in Bitcoin, we are going to send this. We have all your family email addresses. We're going to send it to all your family and post it on the internet. And so she. How much of this? I'm just going to tell you. I'm sitting there saying to myself, if you haven't made any porn videos, why would you worry about that?
Mm-hmm. It's the psychological of seeing your password there and it looks familiar. Say, oh, they got it.
Well, somebody asked her that question, and she said, "Well, I don't know, but my webcam points to my couch." I was like, next.
Oh boy.
Anyway, obviously it was a scam, but apparently she used that same password in several places, and she changed it.
And the same goes for LinkedIn. After I canceled my account, I told you I got the same kind of message with my LinkedIn password, which wasn't exactly it. It was like they took half and put it ahead of the other half. Like sometimes you will get, but all the characters that were in the password were there. I use a different one for each, so I can tell where something is, if something was breaking. So it was obvious, and said, "Yep." And this was the day after I canceled my uh, LinkedIn account. But then I remember, no, they didn't do that just because of that. They were broken into some time ago, and some few million account details were stolen. So that's probably where it came from. But yeah, just if you get one of those emails that Mike is talking about, uh, don't 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 panic. Uh, the panicky part should be, wow, yeah, I'm using the same password everywhere. That's then panic.
Let's talk about that. That's
Yeah,
I've been using a password manager for years now.
yeah,
I used to pay to LastPass. Now I'm using another one.
yeah.
Uh, I I understand why, right? People are not all over passwords, password manager, because it requires this additional step, learning curve, right? And that
Hmm.
stops most people from it. But let's discuss what will make an ideal with the current situation. I'm not talking about now changing all the services to be more secure. We're still using username passwords. What would make an ideal experience, right? And maybe help our listeners in this case, just figure out how to better protect themselves when it comes to password management. Most of the tools out there are free. Even LastPass, which is still maintained by a third party that you store your passwords on, it's rather secure, and and you can use it for free, and you can pay for extra features usually, right? The most um, I think one of the blocks people have just from taking the first step into this is the idea of storing the passwords at somewhere else. Somebody else is managing my content. So before I talk about the technology and how that, first of all, if that's all that's bothering you, then start using it locally. There are open source, fantastic open source application. KeePass is the most known one. Install it. Start. It's pretty easy to if you've run an editor, uh, if you ever run Notepad in your machine or Word, you can run KeePass. It's very easy to work with, and it's just a list of your usernames and passwords. It's just when you close it, nobody can read that file easily. Okay, that is what means to be protected. You're never completely foolproof, hack proof, right? But at least it is closed inside the box with a key, and you have the key. Somebody can still find a way of opening through the key, but that is usually not the case, right? So unless you are, you have $1 million, $1 billion secret that you're protecting, that's usually good enough. Start using it. KeePass is excellent. If you're okay by trusting other services, I would ask you to take a look at the big password managers. I think the most disruptive, the most interesting one right now out there is Bitwarden. Bitwarden is basically a LastPass alternative, LastPass 1Password. I think RoboForm used to have one. I just haven't used all of them, so I don't know all of them. But Bitwarden is an open source implementation of these services. They provide free hosting with their free accounts, or, and this is the interesting one that I think, self-hosted versions of their complete application, and that includes complete synchronization between mobile phones and browsers, and running without the browser. And the way these differ from KeePass is an application that you run locally on your machine. You can have it on your mobile phone, you can have it on your computer, but you need to take care of the storage. Like where the file is stored, that's something that you need to manage, and it can be, if you want it to synchronize to your phone, for example, then you need to take care of the copying. You can use cloud synchronization and stuff. Bitwarden allows you to have the complexity of the services that are hooked up to your browser and to the network and everything, but you can run them on a server at home. But that requires somebody with a bit more technical knowledge on how to set it up.
Right.
The nice thing is that at least if you know somebody technical that is, in the family and you trust them, they can be the one hosting it for the family. It doesn't have to be an organization or a company, and you're still protected in a similar way that you would if you would have taken care of it on your own. So I've moved to Bitwarden, and I can say it is an amazing implementation of security with a self-hosted server that I can trust and I have control of. But if I didn't know how to do that, I can still use their application, their hosted servers, and it is safe even with this service. Even LastPass, which they're one of the big ones, and because of that, they've had a breach about a few years ago while I was using their service, and I can say that other than going and changing my password on my on the account, that is the only thing I needed to do, because even the breach itself did not provide access to the storage where those passwords are contained. And LastPass as a company, they have zero access to your data because everything is encrypted locally on your machine and only transferred encrypted to the cloud. It's never opened on the other side. They don't know your keys. I mean, if you want to reset your password because you lost it or something like that, that means you're going to lose your data as well.
Yep.
So
there's
definitely trust these systems more than you trust Facebook or Google or LinkedIn with your password, and use a different password. The best service that these boxes, right, whether they're hosted somewhere or locally, they give you is a password generator. I do not know my passwords. I don't need to remember them. I need to remember the one to my lock box, right, to my Bitwarden in this case. And once I'm logged in, then I can log into all my services.
Well, if you ever lose them and need them, just let me know.
Well,
no, but you know something.
I'll reset them.
You're talking about something, putting it with them, hosted with them, or somewhere else. One of the reasons why I would not want to host with a company like that does passwords is because they are a target.
That's true. That's true. That's why I really like the self-hosted solution.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
But not everyone is up to that. So don't go to LastPass because they're right now the big ones, and they're definitely the biggest target, and they're the most interested.
Right.
Go to others. but always vet them out. Always, do the due diligence. Check that they are in business for a long time, that they're reputable. See if they had any breaches, stuff like that. Right. I would actually go with a company that had a breach, but a very very long time ago, because that means they cleaned up their act.
Hopefully.
That means well, it all depends how they handle the breach.
Yeah.
In the case of LastPass, they reported the breach to their customers like less than 48 hours from the moment they figure out something was going wrong. They investigated, they reported, and then they kept everyone updated with their findings. And luckily, it was benign. Somebody got access to their network, but didn't get. It seems that they didn't get access to anything else. So they tried. They looked around, but nobody got anything. Right.
Yeah.
So it's
But yeah, the bottom line, what you're trying to say is, you need to keep strong passwords.
Yeah.
And people don't do it because they don't remember what it was for here, what
strong
it was for there.
By the way,
yeah,
very important.
Yeah.
More than 15 characters.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's a completely randomized 12-character password, it's not strong.
Yeah.
15 characters or more. And trust me, if your bank doesn't allow you to put, I've seen banks that say 10 characters, 8 to 10 characters in a password, right? Don't use the online, block the online, change your bank. That's not secure.
Yeah, that's because it's old software and they did not update it. Yeah. That's why I could never understand the thing about 4 PIN numbers. I mean, four digits in a PIN number. I mean, what in the world?
Well,
anyway.
I mean, yeah, everyone has 1,000 minutes. 10,000 minutes. They can spend the entire combination, right? It's not that complex.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Gal. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Anything else? Mike? Nick? Hello?
No, just want to mention I've got a GoFundMe set up to pay for my Wi-Fi on the plane, so I'll post a link in the chat.
Goal, $15, $16 goal.
I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I do in fact need this internet both ways. So I'm asking for a whopping $32. Actually, $35, because there's probably going to be taxes and fees.
Ugh.
Well, that's just out of the question.
So
help me get my Wi-Fi.
Yes, please. I'm a disgruntled employee. I need Wi-Fi.
Nick, just put a bottle next to your router. Fill it up with Wi-Fi.
That's a great idea. Try to get that through TSA? No, TSA.
That's my Wi-Fi. Leave it alone.
My Wi-Fi bottle. What do you mean come in this other room? You don't understand.
No, sorry. All liquids needs to be poured out.
Special Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
Liquefied Wi-Fi. That I see a market for that.
The next big thing.
All right. So, Nick, you doing a show tonight at 7?
Yes, sir.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mike?
What?
Anything
I'm not doing the show at 7.
Anything you wanted to add?
No.
All right. Steve?
I got nothing.
You got nothing. All right.
When is
Gal?
Spence coming back? When is Spence coming back?
Probably in about 3 weeks.
He's bored with us.
His wife just went up there.
Okay.
So that's half. I mean, that's at the half time that he was there. So it's another 3 weeks or 4 weeks. All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mike, Nick, Gal, Steve, everybody else in the chat. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Update your virus scanner. back up your hard drive. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook. We like to be liked. Tonight at 7, Nick is hosting Against the Norm on Wilmington's Big Talker 106.7 FM. And anybody anywhere in the world can listen to it on TuneIn. See you next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.